Hi everyone, Materim here again with another battle report, and this one is Dwarven Holds on Dwarven Holds. I brought the same list I played in my last battle report, as this happened the same night, versus Michael, who threw together just a quick list on the spot, and we decided to throw some dwarves at each other. We're doing a 4,000 point frontline battle. We ended up rolling up the capture the flag objective, which is pretty easy because essentially you get bonus points if you kill more of the scoring units, of 3 chosen scoring units from each side. But each of us only have 3 scoring units, so it's pretty simple there. Now, we are going to remember to actually do my grudge, which I forgot against Skip's Sylvan Elves, so we're going to grudge each other's Deep Watch units, and so we'll talk about that when we get into deployment. So, starting on Michael's left, my left, Michael has a flame cannon. Then he's got a unit of clansmen with hand weapon and shields. There's 30 of them there. Then he has a unit of 30 Deep Watch. In there is his king, who has the Oathstone, Rune of Smashing, Rune of Destruction, 3 runes of shielding, and a rune of quickening. There's also his BSB, who has a shield, the rune of shielding, and the rune of iron ×2. And his runic smith, who has 3 runes and a shield, and those runes are the rune of resilience, the rune of reckoning, and the rune of swift striking. Next is a 30-man unit of clans dwarves with great weapons. Then he has a runed up organ gun. Oh, and those great weapon clan dwarves, they've got Vanguard. And then he has the Anvil of Power at the far end. Mine's pretty simple. You'll notice I'm way back. The reason for that, I don't want to get shot apart by that organ gun, so it's got a 30-inch range. All of my guys right now are 30 and 1/2 inches away from that gun. Because he dropped first, so. And I didn't want to give him a free turn of shooting. So I've got my Seeker unit with the big Dragon Seeker guy in there. He's got 2 runes of Fury and a rune of Might, so he's kind of my blender dwarf. Then I have my 12-man unit of clan marksmen with full command. They've got crossbows and shields. Then up on the hill, I have my Deep Watch. They are 20-man strong with full command. Hanging out with them is my Dwarf King on Shield Bearers. He has a runic weapon with the Rune of Precision, Rune of Might, and Rune of Quickness. He has runic armor of the Mountain and Bronze runes, and a shield. There's also my Runesmith, who has a shield, the Rune of Brilliance, which gives him +1 to cast and dispel, and 3 battle runes with Swift Striking, Resilience, and Gleaming. Behind that is my catapult. Then to the left of that is my 20-man unit of clan marksmen that have handguns that have been upgraded to guild crafted, so they are accurate. They also have great weapons and a full command, and hanging out with them is my Thane BSB with the standard of shielding and a handgun and a shield. And then my chopper is on the very edge there. You can see that in a slightly blurrier picture. But yeah, that's my chopper. And here is the Vanguard. He's just throwing these dwarves straight down my throat. And that's pretty much what he realizes is going to happen. I have so many points invested into shooting. I'm down a lot of bodies. I think he's got like 20 more bodies on the field than I do. And I don't know if my shooting is going to make up for that difference. So Michael's turn 1. He comes just screaming down the center of the field because he really isn't afraid of me, and I don't really blame him. And he decides, because they can, to move his war machines. They don't get to fire this turn, but now that he's moved them each up 3 inches, they're within range to start hitting stuff. And he does the same thing on this side. So, my turn 1, I realize that my plan of trying to stay out of the organ gun's range is not going to work, So I decide to move up the Seekers into the forest, hoping that the extra -1 to hit because of the forest will help until he gets close enough for me to charge out of the forest on him. Over here, I take my chopper, hide it behind the hill. My plan is to charge his flame cannon there with the chopper next turn, and hopefully I can take it out in combat, and it just will get rid of more shooting. Over here, I do some shooting. My magic phase is garbage. I didn't really do much. My crossbowmen do actually get lucky. I'm needing like 6s to hit. But they get lucky and put a wound on the organ gun. And then my handgunners over here get less lucky and put 1 wound on his hand weapon and shield clan warriors. And Michael goes again. These are going to be quick turns, and he just keeps coming. He's spread out a little bit just so he can see each of the 3 threats I have, but his units are still close enough together to support each other. And then he gets some magic off with the Rune of Power and drops 2d6 strength 4 hits on the Slayers, but only kills 1. Then his organ gun goes off and kills 2 more of them, so the Seekers are not having a good day at the moment. So we go into my turn 2. My copter easily makes the charge against his flame cannon. My Slayers make the charge here. And, oh, that was the other thing. He also got the other spell off that makes them have dangerous terrain from the anvil, so I lose a couple more Seekers to the dangerous terrain. But I'm in there for what it's worth. And over here, I'm not moving up at all because I don't want to go mix up with those units at this point. Over here, I get my shooting off and end up actually killing 4 of the Iron Breakers, which I'll take. I need to thin the unit down. Ideally, I want it down by a total of 10 before they hit my Iron Breakers, because that would actually make it an even fight. So then we go into close combat, and I end up getting 2 wounds on the cannon. It gets nothing on me, but it's stubborn and isn't going anywhere. And over here, we trade kills. I lose 3 more Slayers. He loses 4? Maybe 4 Great Weapon guys, but he's stubborn and isn't going anywhere. So then we go into Michael's turn 3, and he keeps coming. He decides he's too far to try charges, so he's just coming forward a little bit more. He also moves up the anvil because it's War Machine and apparently can move, and no longer has the rule where if you move it, it can't cast spells, so there's no real reason not to. And then the organ gun, because we're treating this unit as being on the hill, the organ gun just opens up on the archers and kills 5 of them, but they're not going anywhere. And we grind some more. I lose 2 more Seekers. He loses another rank of Great Weapon guys. I'm actually rolling pretty well compared to him. He's not rolling very well, and then I'm beasting through this 6-up ward save. But really, the big winner here is that Dragon Seeker. He's killing easily as much as the rest of the unit combined. So we go to my turn 3. I decide that the shooting game is for the most part over. I leave my gunner unit like they are to keep shooting. That's probably a mistake. I probably should have reformed them and got them into combat block form and just was putting more faith in my shooting than I should have. But I moved the crossbowman up essentially just to work his chaff and slow him down a little bit. We go into combat, and nothing happens over here. We're just fluffing back and forth at each other. Combat over here, I lose, I think, another Seeker. He loses another full rank, but he's rolling like a beast on his break checks and succeeded it. And we go into Michael's turn 4. He is absolutely not afraid of these crossbowmen, charges at them. They were further than 3 inches, so they get a stand and shoot, which accomplished nothing. And then he moves up here. I don't think he tried to charge. I think he just moves his guys up, which is actually okay with me because I'm thinking maybe I can bring the great weapons into the side, essentially do like an X charge, bring the great weapons into the side of his deep watch, and bring my deep watch into his core troops. And I figure those should be pretty good matchups. And then he moves up his anvil again. Oh, I think I did some shooting wounds on the. I think I dropped a rock on the gun last turn. He ends up casting some magic. The big one is that he gives his Deep Watch 3 points of initiative, and then he opens up with his organ gun on my Deep Watch and kills 3 of them. Over here, I think I get 1 more wound on the cannon, but it's got 5 wounds now, so it's not going anywhere, and I had forgotten about that, so this is the point where I realized this probably wasn't the best charge to do. I probably could have been doing more just having him fly around and causing trouble. Then we go into combat. I finally have my Seekers destroy his unit of Great Weapon dudes, and they turn around to look at the flank here. My only hope is that with these shield guys, they've got a 5-up ward save. I just need them to hold on and not break. Because if I can do that, kind of landing some flank charges, I'm feeling pretty good about dealing with these Iron Breakers. Or Deep Watch, excuse me. But that didn't happen, and I forgot to take a picture of it. He kills kills a bunch of the archers. There's 3 of them left. They break and run off. He does not chase, and instead reforms. So on my turn 4, my Seekers charge him in the back. My big unit of Great Weapon Gunners charge him in the front, and then my Deep Watch charges the other unit. I'm still thinking this is okay. I didn't really have any good options at this point. He's got me outnumbered by a large amount of bodies, and I'm not sure if throwing the Great Weapon shooters into that other unit would have been better. I'm really just at a loss. But I do rally my 3 remaining crossbowmen, and they hang out there. Just to let you know, it doesn't look like that character is attached to the unit, but he actually is. Because of the way the hill goes, I can't actually have him there. But he's on the end there. And then I get a crazy good magic phase by miscasting twice on better than 4 dice. So I get the -1 to wound and the distracting and hard target, and I lose both spells. So this is the last time they're going to be pumped like that. I do also succeed in dropping another rock on the organ gun and take it out during shooting. Over here, we're in combat and fluff at each other again. Over here, we're in combat. I don't lose much, and I take out a bunch of his, but he's actually got more ranks than me now because he's got 4 full ranks, so he's stubborn and doesn't go anywhere, which is bad. I really needed to get in. If I had done 1 more wound here, he would have been rolling on like a 2 or a 3. And I probably would have broken that unit, could have reformed and come into the flank and helped, but it's hard to base a strategy on breaking a unit of dwarves, particularly with another dwarves. I have a bunch of anvils in this unit and not many hammers. And over here, bad things happen. I don't think anybody declares a challenge. I'm figuring I just want to kill the unit. We go into it. Or no, he declares a challenge, and I answered with my gunner champion. That's what happened because I did that green die. There is 1 wound on his dwarf king. I know Michael builds his dwarf kings to be character killers, so I kind of want to keep my characters out of challenges with him as long as I can. I'm kicking myself now for not having put a champion into the Slayer unit or the Seeker unit, because it basically means somebody's got to either answer it or run away next turn, which is bad. Over here, Michael's turn 5. Nobody moves, so we go straight into combat, basically, because there's no shooting. He buffs his guys, or he fails to buff his guys. I stop him this turn. One more wound on the cannon. It's not going anywhere. Then over here, his dwarves, he's got the Oathstone. So basically, it didn't, like, he gets to attack with full ranks in every direction. He doesn't count as having rears or flanks. It's pretty bad. At least I think that's how he is. I don't know. I have a question about that at this point. But anyway. But yeah, so he kills off my seeker unit. Only the characters there left. He kills off several more of the shooters. I do a few more wounds. I still think I win the combat, but not by much. Because I think I killed another rank and a half, and he killed like a rank. But in either case, he's stubborn and isn't going anywhere because he's got more than one rank on me at this point. So we go into my turn 5. Oh yeah, the other combat. Sorry, I forgot to talk about that. The other combat was a pillow fight. It was a few deaths here and there, no big deal. These 3 guys try and shoot for the Anvil of Power and actually squeeze one wound through. And then the combat goes. As you can see, his Dwarf Lord finally got into it, and just between the Dwarf Lord and the unit, they just absolutely brutalized everything. They were buffed at this point. I had no spells left. And he just wiped the unit out. I went ahead and surrendered because at this point it's top of 5, bottom of 5. He's going to kill that unit, and probably the character in the back there too. And then he's going to come into the side of my Iron Breakers, and I'm not killing that Clansman unit. And this comes to my biggest issue. Well, I guess I had 2 big issues with this. The Oathstone is just way too good for 60 points. And I don't think anyone will convince me otherwise. Just being able to go, no, you don't have rears or backs, and you get to fight and supporting ranks and all that fun stuff in every direction is just, it's bad. It's just like, oh my god. I think it should be twice as much as it is, at least. 120 points for that kind of thing would be awesome. 60 points is just too little. And number 2, this is the first game that kind of shows me how much I hate the way shields work now. Particularly for the dwarves. Because with shields, like, the best you can hit on is a 4-up. So essentially having elite infantry versus core, if they've got shields, doesn't matter anymore. And then on top of that, dwarves essentially get to double dip, because they get the special rule where they have the 6-up ward save, like the old parry rules from 8th edition. So they get the 6-up ward save, and then the Ironbreakers get 5-up ward save, and every other dwarf gets 5-up on the turn they're charged. So, I don't like the idea that it basically makes elite infantry just normal punk bitches all hitting on 4-ups, so that's kind of annoying. But the double dipping is kind of ridiculous. Not only essentially losing out on those extra hits and then having a 5 or a 6-up ward save. I think it's too good. I think they really need to rework the way parry or the way shields work in general, the parry rule. And certainly with the dwarves, they shouldn't let them essentially get both effects. And this is speaking with somebody who's playing dwarves. The idea that they're essentially doubling up on the benefit of that. And dwarf shields really aren't any more expensive than anybody else's from what I can see. So it's not like I'm paying extra points for it. Also, it would be nice to have some ground shooting options that didn't take so many points. I mean, I'm sure I'm trying to essentially make them do both things, so maybe that's my bad. Maybe I shouldn't give them weapons or shields and just make them super cheap shooting units. If I'm going to play with a little splash of shooting, that's probably a better way to go. But it was a good game. Dwarves versus dwarves are frustrating, I think, because the way Michael put it is they're both anvil armies, so it's like slamming shields together instead of using weapons on each other. But the Anvil of Power is really good now. I wish I have one. I kind of wish I'd used it. I really spent too many. Like, I misspent points really bad in this army. Like, this army list just needs to get thrown in the garbage and kind of redesigned from the ground up, and just see kind of what I can do with it. Um, I also don't know how easy it's going to be to continue to do what I wanted to do of the 15, 20 man units versus 30 man units. Just the bodies are not helping. But so I'm going to go back to the drawing board on this one. But for the night, it wasn't bad. It was a 1-1. Uh, so I could probably do worse. This is actually my first loss in the Ninth Age. I think so. I think if I'm recalling correctly, this is the first game I lost, so I guess I can't really complain too much. But I hope you guys liked it. If you have any suggestions on how to make the sort of multiple medium unit design for dwarves work better, I would love to hear it. Leave comments below if you have any questions or anything of that nature. And we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.